Ladies and gentlemen, there it is. Material issues. Forgot to pop that up right at the beginning so we know where we're at. But it's episode number 107. 107 of Material Issues. I'm Mark Hershberger of Pop Detective Records. I'm over here in South Jersey where it rained like crazy all day. It's dinner time now, but it's the middle of the afternoon out in super sunny Southern California, LA area. My good friend who just flew in from Copenhagen, and boy, are his arms tired. Mr. David, I now collect nothing but vinyl. Bash, how are you doing tonight, my friend?
I know it does seem that way, doesn't it? But
It's all I see is like, I got this vinyl and this vinyl. I said he's getting rid of all his CDs. He's going
no,
strictly to vinyl.
hardly. And I bought a ton of CDs, but there aren't that many rarities out there really in the
Yeah,
CD world.
yeah.
So they're not as exciting to talk about. But yeah, I'm glad to be home. It was a long, long day flying. We flew, and my voice is shot, so forgive me, please. We flew from Copenhagen to De Gaulle Airport in Paris. That was about a 2 hour flight. And then we had about a 4.5 hour layover there, which was very welcome. And it's a beautiful airport, by the way. I don't know if you've ever been to De Gaulle, but
No.
it's gorgeous. And they have nice shops, just a well laid out, well presented airport. And then we took our flight from there, an Air France flight home to LA. 11 hours and no, about 11-hour flight.
11 hours,
And
yeah.
fortunately, they had no Wi-Fi, which really kind of freaked me out for a bit. But they had such a good entertainment setup with tons of movies. So I ended up watching 5 films,
Wow.
all of which I'd seen before. But that's kind of what you want on an 11-hour flight. You don't want to watch new films because they could weird you out, and then you're on this flight and it's like then you start feeling claustrophobic. But well, actually, yes. Let me backpedal a bit. I started watching The Whale because I had good evening, Andy.
Andy.
I had never seen it. I thought, oh, what the hell? It's right here
Yeah.
on this entertainment system. Let's check it out. The first 5 minutes were so disturbing that I just said, "Screw it! I'll watch it when I'm home, in the comfort of my own home. I don't want to watch it on a plane and start freaking out. It's like, oh my god, I'm 8 hours from home. I'm on this plane. I can't get out. No, not a
Somebody
unless,
stop this plane now.
unless it's a comedy or something. You don't want to be watching new films." Um, Films that you haven't seen. What's up, boys? Is this Barry by chance? Or
Yeah, I don't know. Just say hi. Whoever it is.
well, hi, whoever you are. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And I do like your Revolver T-shirt. We discussed that prior to the show. That came from the Beatles store there on Matthew Street.
Yeah, right
Oh,
next to the cavern, there's the
yeah.
Hard Day's Night store, and they have some really great, as you might imagine, Beatle memorabilia. And
Yeah.
this revolver shirt has, you know, that new funky design that they were using, the alternate cover that they were using on the box set, and a
Yeah.
bunch of images of the guys. I know it kind of looks like that's a stain, but no, that's how they all are.
Yeah.
So
That too
thank you,
says.
Tim.
Yeah.
I really
I
appreciate
I
that.
have I've got my special limited edition White Album underwear on. I would show it to you, but you know, in the interest of keeping people watching, but it is the White Album. It's
But I've
completely
heard
white.
I've heard that one has a stain also.
It has a stain,
You don't want to
but
talk about
all
that.
of mine do.
Yeah, funny enough.
And I'm
But
wearing, as we talk about T-shirts, I've got Mark's Sandwich Shop, established in 1966. That's from Kutztown, Pennsylvania,
oh
where I grew up.
really? Wow.
One of my favorite, and it's still there. Mark's
No, I
Sandwich
have to
Shop.
try that if I ever
Yep.
get down there.
If you ever get there, they have just wonderful sandwiches and things. Shout out to Mark's Sandwich Shop. Some things you like to see never change, and that's one of them.
Yeah. No doubt. Again, we're talking about security and comfort zones, just to know that certain things from your youth are still around. Haha.
I do have them in long underwear. Yes,
Is
yeah.
this Mr. Borak by chance?
Limited edition? Yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah, so as people who've been watching know, I was in Liverpool and Copenhagen doing IPO, Glasgow and Edinburgh in between for a little rest and relaxation. And then after IPO Copenhagen, we hung out there. Our plan was to hang out for 2 days. It became 3 when our flight on Wednesday to Paris got canceled. But they put us up in a really nice hotel. That is, Air France did. It's called the Clarion, and it's right there at the airport. And yeah, it was beautiful. And they gave us meal vouchers for dinner and breakfast. So all in all, not such a bad thing.
Yeah, not at all.
And Copenhagen's just a beautiful city anyway. It's got, I mean, it's right there on the water. The boat tour is really extensive, and there's lots of architecture and lots of history that is illuminated during the tour.
Yeah.
Well, illuminated figuratively. They don't turn the lights on because it's in the afternoon. But anyway,
but you had a good shows with Copenhagen. So
really good shows on
again.
The 2 days. The club was very pleased. We were pleased with them. Oh, I'm croakier than I was, Andy. All of a sudden it's coming back. I don't think it's COVID, but probably just residual effect of the COVID I had.
Yeah.
Been coughing. Don't have a fever, fortunately, but not feeling great. Not, I'm all the usual. The usual elements of travel are with me, also the jet lag and everything else, and my body hurts. I'm reminded of the episode on the Dick Van Dyke Show where he gets into a skiing accident, and Laura, who's played by Mary Tyler Moore, comes and visits him in the hospital, and he's in obvious pain, and she says, "Where does it hurt?" And he points to this little spot. He says, "You see this spot? That's the only place it doesn't hurt." And I kind of feel like that right now because everything freaking hurts.
Well, 11 hours on a plane will
that exacerbated what was already there. It's been hurting, especially my right leg. And I'm 64 and I'm carrying around luggage, and I'm, I mean, not to complain. I'm not trying to be a diva or anything. I don't mind doing that stuff, but it's going to take its toll on my body. I mean, it's just, I'm not going to get away scot-free from doing that.
I'll tell you what, though, we've gotten good comments from 2 weeks ago when we were live from the cavern, which was very cool. Getting some of the backstage banter with some of the bands, and then seeing it live on stage for anybody who's not been to Liverpool and the cavern. People really digging it, and gives them an idea how cool it really is. And next time they should spend a week there.
That was a really good night for the interviews also, because Laura and the Stalkers and the 286, they were totally into it.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, it was great.
Both put on great performances. And if I recall, wasn't Andy Hartley in the audience? Didn't we get a glimpse of Andy? Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
But yeah, always fun. I'm still bummed that I missed the last 2 days because of COVID.
No.
I think I mentioned on the last show, I felt kind of like Moses, not being able to look at the promised land, but not be able to go in. But Rena did a really great job of keeping things going. And I mean, thank God for her. So yeah, all in all, it was all fun. Copenhagen, Liverpool, the tourist stuff, the record shopping, of course. And with that in mind, I'd like to show a few of the rarities that I picked up. I mean, this is only a very small fraction. Yeah, no doubt. Fortunately, I had to send a box of CDs back, but I was able to get all of my LPs in the 2 bags that I had. I had to manipulate a lot. Kind of a logic puzzle, getting the pieces to fit, but it ended up working out.
I thought it was great, though. Someone took live video of David and Rena walking through the airport, and David had his soda and bagel, and Rena was carrying 3 bags of vinyl.
Yeah, right.
It was pretty good. Real nice of him.
Didn't see any bagels. Not much in the way of potato chips or sodas or anything at De Gaulle. Copenhagen had a few pretty cool things,
Mm-hmm.
like mango Pepsi Max with
Nice.
no sugar. That was nice. Anyway, let's see what I got here. Well, I've got the Revolver T-shirt. I talked about this. I posted it on Facebook. Looks like an ordinary UK Revolver album, but in fact, it is not. It is the Matrix 1, the first issue, the original issue that came out in 1966, first pressing, which had a version of Tomorrow Never Knows that John and Paul did not sign off on. When they heard that it was on there, they got really upset, contacted Brian Epstein, George Martin. George Martin called EMI and said, "You better pull this album.
Yeah.
If you want to deal with us anymore, if you want us on your roster, you better pull this album." And they did. And since then, Matrix 2 and 3, with a proper version of Tomorrow Never Knows, have been the only things that you've seen. And
well, think about how amazing that is, though, because they were still in 1966 very young, and still doing amazing things in the studio. And to have something like Matrix 1 come out, and for them to listen to Tomorrow Never Knows and hear the fact that it's not what they wanted at that young age, and say that this is it, we get pull it, don't release this. Pretty amazing that they were.
I think they were certainly aware of their power and standing in the music community and with their label. I haven't played it yet, Andy. It looks good. It's certainly at least VG plus.
Yeah, nice.
So I mean, again, the Matrix 1 version of Tomorrow Never Knows is now on that Revolver box set. It was the first legitimate issue of that song since the original Revolver album. So now it doesn't matter to me as much how well it plays, but it looks really good. Let's see what else we got here. Also bought in Liverpool, an original copy of The World of Oz. This is did I show this last week? I forgot.
Yeah.
Oh, I did already.
Yeah.
All right, well, this is a UK version of the album, a really cool pop psych album that not a lot of people know about. But yeah, it's got songs like The Muffin Man, The Humgum Tree. We've all seen The Queen, with titles like that. And
nice.
The music certainly aligns with that. Good stuff. Rare album, especially in the UK issue. This is an interesting album. Not real rare, but I bought this in Glasgow. The Supreme Sing Motown. This never came out in the U.S. It only came out in various European countries. It's a lot of the songs are ones that we know by them, like You Keep Me Hanging On and Love Is Here and Now You're Gone. But they also do versions of I'll Turn to Stone and It's the Same Old Song, which the Four Tops did.
Yeah.
And Love Is Like a Heat Wave, Martha and the Vandellas hit, and a few other Motown tracks. So it's kind of cool to have this. It wasn't expensive either. I think I talked about this. One of my favorite artists of all time, Chris Rainbow, born in Glasgow, lived in Isle of Skye, also in Scotland. Every time I see a copy of this in the wild, which isn't often, I pick one up.
Oh, really?
And I had one in Glasgow. The cool thing about it for me is that it came with this promo photo.
Nice.
And I'd never seen that before. I'm probably going to frame it. I was lucky enough to get to know him over letter and then email. Never talked to him, never met him. Unfortunately, he passed. But this is an incredible album, especially if you're a Beach Boys fan, of Pet Sounds or Sunflower Ilk. This is something you'll love. It's on CD, also rare, so it's not easy to find. But
I'm sure it's probably is it out on Spotify, YouTube?
There's a compilation. There's a compilation of Chris Rainbow stuff on Spotify that has most of the tracks.
Right.
So and I think most of the tracks, if not all of them, are on YouTube. This was a fun thing. An original 1968 White Album, made in Denmark, it says here on the label.
Nice.
So it's a
Yeah.
Danish copy of the White Album with the poster and the 4 photos, and numbered. Not a low number, but who cares, right?
It's a number, yeah.
It wasn't cheap, but it wasn't insanely expensive either. It's like, this is what's fun about going record shopping in these countries. You see stuff in the wild that you normally would only find on eBay or Discogs.
Right,
so just
right.
hold it in your hands and think, like, should I buy it? Should I not? Yeah, why not? It's always fun. And
it's enjoyable. Yeah.
And last, and certainly not least, the rarest of the it's rarer than the Revolver, even if it's not as sought after. This is a Danish band called Culpepper's Orchard. This is their first album. The cover is amazing. I mean, it's just so full of color and imagery. A lot of literary imagery, some of which I'm not familiar with, but it's pretty clear that's what it is. This is a Danish band, kind of on the prog side, but with beautiful harmonies and lead vocals and lots of harpsichord and melodic guitar. And it's their first album and extremely rare, especially in this condition.
And while you're holding up, 2 things. One, as you said, beautiful album cover art, which is really, what takes us back to our youth and whatnot, is the fact that we bought these big pieces of art, and you could sit there, hold it, look at it, study it, whatnot, and that's absolutely just a great example of it. But the other thing, I'm not familiar with the band, but looking at the spelling, it's actually spelled Culpepper's.
And maybe that is how it's pronounced, but I was pronouncing it
you would
with a
think
short E,
Culpepper.
and nobody was correcting me at the record store. So
Well, it's just the way it's spelled. It's
might be Peepers.
I
If
don't know.
anybody from Denmark or familiar with the band is watching, and you can illuminate us, by all means.
But you would think if it's an orchard, it would be like Culpepper. It's something from Green Acres or something.
Well, it came out
Mr.
only
Culpepper's Orchard.
It came out only a couple of years after Green Acres, so who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows if these
Interesting.
Danes were watching American comedy? But beautiful album, been reissued. Even the reissues are hard to find, though. There was a Danish record store day issue that I had to look all over the place for on eBay and Discogs before I found one. So, but this is exceedingly rare and probably among the top 5 most expensive albums I bought. But
wow.
I had to do it.
Nice.
When in Denmark, as they say.
Yeah.
So those and many, many others were purchased, and also some were given at various IPOs, which was nice. So there you have that. You said you had a few things you wanted to.
Well, no, I was just saying, you didn't. I'm sure we didn't hear about it, but you didn't buy any watches while you were over there, right?
I did.
Did you? Well, hold on. Before you show yours, I'm going to show mine, because I normally don't have as many watches to show, but I've got a brand new watch.
Oh, wow. Okay.
In right now. It is on my wrist right here. I will take it off and show it, but this is a Swiss Carl Jones.
Oh, wow.
I just got in, and it's one of those, hold on a second. I'll hold it up, but it's a nice chronograph. Let's see if we can get the light on it right here so we can see it.
I see it, yeah.
Nice gold.
Nice 3 dial with a moon phase.
Moon phase, yeah.
Is that a date on? Is that the date underneath the moon?
No. The date's underneath the moon. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Carl Jones date. It's nice. They had a
very nice, and I've never heard of the company, so that's very cool.
It's spelled Jones Jones.
And it's Swiss.
Yep, Swiss. Yeah,
okay,
it's a Swiss,
cool.
Swiss company.
Nice.
So I had to show that. So what do you got going on? You bought a watch while you were over there. Nice.
No, I bought another Swatch Omega. This is the Pluto issue. I had the Saturn, It's got some nice red accents, which I like. And Pluto is, people are still debating on whether or not it's an actual planet. So there you go. Yeah, I mean, there was a swatch store there that had this particular variety. I really wanted the Moonwatch, the one that they modeled the original Omega from, or modeled after the original Omega Moonwatch from the late '60s. But that one, they had gotten them in a day before, and they sold out within 30 minutes.
Yep, there you go.
The Moonwatch, of all 11 varieties, that one is the most in demand, and that makes sense.
Yeah,
because that was that's the classic issue, and that was the main reason they even initiated this program. In fact, they may have only initially wanted to do the Moonwatch, and then somebody suggested, well, let's do some more varieties. We think we have a hit on our hands.
Yeah.
And they certainly did. I also bought at De Gaulle Airport this beautiful Mont Blanc Jules Verne issue. I liked the spade because he played whist. That was his card game of choice. And it's got some nice engravings on it. You probably can't see them well, but his boat that I guess it's associated. I always associate him with the hot air balloon, but but I haven't seen the film or read the book in years and years, so I don't know if there is a boat associated with it. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. Anyway, really pretty pen, and I love Mont Blanc. So there you go.
Yeah, you did well for yourself between Mont Blanc, Omega watch, and a bunch of rare vinyl. I think you're pretty well set for the holiday season.
I'm set for at least a week. Yeah,
at least a week. Well, have you had these yet? I know you're over here, but another limited edition Lay's.
No, I have not, and pardon me. That looks like I might actually like it.
BLT sandwich.
I think I would like it, but I have not seen it out here. Toasty.
And it says toasty, toasty, toasty. The most delicious bacon, sweet and salty, crispy, crunchy chips.
Wow.
Oh, bacon, lettuce, tomato up here in the corner. So I have not tasted them yet. So right now I'm going to.
There we go.
I'm going to let you know. First of all, then you get that little. Oh, you see, this is like you just made a fresh bacon, lettuce, tomato sandwich. I'm seeing some seasonings on there, not heavily seasoned, but oh man.
Oh, really good, huh?
Yeah. That's
no. Is there no cheese? I would.
There's no cheese. You get a not a super strong flavor, but you get that tomatoey.
Yeah.
Like you're biting through a tomato, and you get that little back end hint of bacon, lettuce, but you also get like the toasted bread kind of flavor too.
Wow.
So yeah, it's really. I'm gonna say you're gonna like this.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully I'll see them out here.
Yeah, this is really good. Yeah. All right.
It says limited edition.
Limited edition. Limited time flavor.
It's one of their summer. Yeah, it's one of their summer.
Look at that sandwich right there.
I know, one of their test market things.
Wow.
That reminds me. I love the scene in Trading Places, which I'm sure you've seen that movie.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I've seen it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I did get a Searching for Sylvia pen. Yes.
Mm.
Thank you for that, Andy. That was one of the things that if you bought a Searching for Sylvia CD, you had a choice of different items in the Searching for Sylvia catalog that you could get as well, and one of them was that pen.
Oh, so nice.
Got the pen. I was watching one of the 5 movies I watched on the flight was Trading Places, and there's that scene where the Duke brothers are explaining to Eddie Murphy's Billy Ray Valentine character what they do with the trading of commodities, and they have a plate of bacon to illustrate pork bellies, And Ralph Bellamy, as Randolph Duke says, it's bacon like you might find in a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich. And just the way like Murphy looks at the camera, I don't know what his look was trying to say. Like, are they serious? Like they think I'm that stupid that I needed that explanation? Just he just has that Eddie Murphy look that suggested that. And I love that.
I got to say, probably one of my all-time favorite sandwiches, just to take it down up a notch, is a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich. There's a place out where my dad is in Western PA, in Martinsburg, Pennsylvania, a nice little tiny town where my dad's facility is, that makes a breakfast BLT. So they make this, the thick sliced like country bacon that's local out there, big pieces of tomato, lettuce, and then they put a over easy egg on it. Then put the toast. So when you bite into it, all the yolk and the over easy egg just kind of goes through everything. And I don't know if you're an egg person, whatnot.
No, I'm not.
But my gosh, is it incredible? It's messy, it's sloppy, but if you love BLTs or an egg sandwich and you put it all together, it's incredible. That's Mamie's. Wow. Mamie's out in Martinsburg. If anybody's watching and happens to find themselves in a tiny little town called Martinsburg, go to Mamie's and get the breakfast BLT.
Well, hey, Gary, good to see you. Barry Gutman is from Philly, so he could take a little trip out there.
He's got to take a little bit of a trip out there, yeah. But highly recommend it. But that's, I love a good BLT. And now when I saw these chips yesterday, I was like, I got to get it for the show tomorrow night.
Oh, cool. Well, I'm glad you did. And I will be at some point soon. Well, I won't be able to eat solid food starting on Tuesday for a little bit. I'm going to be having some oral surgery on Tuesday, where I'm going to have the few real teeth I have in my mouth will be removed, and implants will be put in, and I will be getting upper and lower dentures. And it's going to be, the recovery process is going to be reasonably long and somewhat painful. And for at least the first week, I'm not going to be able to eat anything except soft foods. So I might have to, either I better find those chips before Tuesday, or I'm going to have to table it for a while, but we'll see.
I don't want to ruin the surprise, but you are getting the IPO initials in each of the 3 teeth.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. You're doing it in the diamonds, aren't you? Yeah.
I'm going to have gold teeth like what's his name? In Street Smart. Why am I forgetting the name of the actor all of a sudden? The guy who played God a few times. Yeah.
Who is that? I know who you mean.
Yeah, it's killing me that I don't remember. But
Gary says.
There you go.
Good Ruben. I know pastrami's fantastic.
Pastrami is great.
Anytime.
And Andy, you got to go to New York if you want the best pastrami ever. But
wow, yeah, that's a definite. That's a definite. But yeah, that's what's going on, man. I had to get the BLT chips, and hopefully your surgery next week goes well. We'll see how well you're talking for next week's show. But
yeah, I mean it'll be the day after, so we'll see how it goes. But I should be speaking okay.
Yeah,
I just I may be in some pain, but
next couple of weeks we do
have painkillers, so we'll see.
Yeah, painkillers.
Let's see. So you did didn't you have something else you wanted to talk about besides the chips, or was there?
I think that's it. I covered my new watch because I generally don't get new watches. I got my BLT chips, and I think I'm good. I didn't get anything. I mean, I know we talked about, but we'll talk about that with the upcoming episodes. But the Midnight Callers press kit's very cool. There's a couple new releases coming out from Historic Autograph Company. They're not on the market.
Oh, nice.
Yet, so we'll talk about that maybe if I get something down the road. But all kinds of things going on. But yeah, it's good. Jess is great. I'm great. It's now sunny after raining all day finally.
Oh wow! So, it actually rained here a little bit today. Of course, I can't complain. I mean, we had gorgeous weather in Liverpool, and everywhere we went: Glasgow, Edinburgh, and Copenhagen. So, I mean, I there have been other years where that hasn't been the case. But wow, that was great. So if that means having to come home to some mildly inclement weather here, that's okay. I'll take that trade anytime. IPO CD news. All right, so the tracks are almost all in. Tomorrow's the deadline. On Sunday, Arena and I will. Well, tomorrow we're going to start listening to them, and on Sunday we'll stack them. And then Monday I give the tracks to my mastering person, Alan Brownstein, who's done them for the past. When did he start? I think Volume 10 was his first, and we've had him do it since then. And then over the next couple of weeks, the artwork will be done and handed in, and we will have them for opening day of IPOLA, which will be August 4th. A lot of the tracks I've heard are great. Omnivore in particular gave us 3 awesome tracks. One by the Cowsills, one by Roger Manning, and one by Lizard Music, which has some just a really good set of songwriters in it.
Nice.
So all 3 are excellent, and but we've also gotten great tracks from IPO artists, and I very much looking forward to stacking them, to getting the official release. And if anybody who did submit a track is listening, thank you so much. It means a lot. It really does. We're proud of these compilations. This will be our 24th.
Wow.
So
it's incredible.
It's and we're trying to do our best to keep the physical product alive. I've said this many times on this show and in print. I have nothing against streaming or downloads, but I think there should be more. I think there should be a CD, or a vinyl, or even a cassette, just something you can hold in your hand and play on a stereo. And I understand progress, but if you're asking me on a personal level, I really do believe it's important. And
so it goes back to what you and I talk about, just the psychology of collecting and enjoying collecting. It's tough to collect things digitally. What are you displaying? What are you showing people? What are you what are you holding your hands and look at? So
I guess you can say, "Here's my stick."
And you've said that a few times. So
yes, I have. And I'm going to say this is not actual size, not quite.
not quite was the key word.
This is
that is actual size.
So
Lord Almighty, that's funny.
Really.
The only other thing I was going to say that we talked about this briefly before going on air is I'm looking at starting a little podcast on the side as well, which is just audio, but going to call it Oohs and Ahs, which is all about the background harmonies, oohs and ahs of Scandinavian pop music. There's been a lot of great music come out of Sweden, Norway, Denmark over the last, I say 20 years is when I really discovered some power pop out of that. But of course, it's a long history of that kind of music that a lot of people don't know about because it doesn't get played here in the U.S. Very much. And I may start something. I might see something along those lines in the near future. Just an audio podcast, which will talk about some of my favorite artists and play some songs. So we'll see. And keep your ears out for
that would really be great. As you know, I love Swedish pop or Scandinavian pop as well, particularly Swedish.
Yeah.
And that's very true too, Tim. Yeah, it does become much more disposable. And a lot of people, I always say this, but a lot of people rely on streaming. And one day, you never know, one day the governments may deem that streaming is illegal, or there'll be some sort of restriction imposed, and there will no longer be streaming sites. I mean, and your house could go on fire as well, but I think there's a better chance that something's going to happen to streaming. So A lot of people have sold a lot of people have sold their collections, and they're relying on that. And one day it may be gone, and they're going to really wish they didn't do that. But
impossible to predict.
No, it is. And
couldn't have predicted when I was holding or plugging the 8-track tape into my car player, way back when it was impossible to predict CDs, let alone the digital universe of everything. Who knows? Who knows what the future's going to hold?
There's really no way to know. But I've been hearing a few people are saying that CDs, they're prognosticating anyway, that CDs will make a comeback. Mm-hmm. Maybe wishful thinking, I don't know, but it would be nice to see because the bulk of my collection it is and always will be CDs. And I know I've been talking mostly about vinyl because vinyl is more fun to collect these days. There really aren't that many CD rarities out there, or there may be some scarce CDs, but people don't necessarily care. Like with vinyl, there are certain things that are very obviously rare and sought after. Not so much in the CD market. So, no, but I had a whole box of CDs that I shipped back to from Liverpool. So no, I'm still getting plenty of CDs. And
speaking of vinyl, what's the? I saw it the other day. What's the company out of the Netherlands? You Discover? Is it You Discover?
Oh,
I forget. I saw.
You mean Music on Vinyl? No.
Music on Vinyl? Is that what it is?
Well, Music on Vinyl has released a lot of Netherlands 60s albums.
Oh, I know they're putting out the Tough Darts album on vinyl, a reissue on translucent red vinyl.
Nice.
Which was I love that album. Tough Darts, fantastic.
Yeah, one of the guys from Tough Darts used to work at Free Being Records in Manhattan. I can't remember which guy. It wasn't Robert Gordon.
Right.
Who wasn't on the album anyway, but this guy was. But and
that's where that album was so good, but All for the Love of Rock and Roll was covered by Ram Jam on the album with Black Betty. So it all ties into some really cool stuff. But I wore my album out, so I need a new copy of the Tough Darts album. Yeah.
No, a lot of people will say, "Well, what's left to reissue?" And it's like plenty.
Amazing amount of music out there.
Things that have come out on vinyl, but not necessarily colored vinyl, and of course things that have not come out on vinyl since the original issue. And there's lots of box sets that could still be done. I'm hoping one day for a Holly's mono box, for example, or even a mono stereo box. And fortunately, there are labels out there like Madfish who are doing those huge CD boxes, but also are doing some vinyl boxes. A lot of stuff left, and there will be for quite a while. It's forget it. It's not even close.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we're around for a lot of years to see all this great stuff keep coming out. But
that would be nice. Yeah.
It would be nice. It sure is. But I know David's not. He's a little jet lagged. And we're not looking at a Stump the Bash tonight because that just wouldn't be fair to Stump them. But I got a couple of things we can play around with. I've got a thing called Who Said That? And it's actually quotes. It's quotes from one of three people. And I'm going to read the quote, and you've got a Tim Allen's checking in. Yeah, still tons of 90s.
That's very true too.
So I'm going to read the quote, David, and all you simply have to do is tell me who said that quote. Was it Elvis Presley, Brian Wilson, or Taylor Swift?
All right, so these are all music related.
These are just quotes. These are quotes from either Elvis Presley, Brian Wilson, or Taylor Swift. So I'm going to read the quote, and you tell me if it was Elvis, Brian, or Taylor Swift.
All right, we'll do.
All right. Here's quote number one. A live concert to me is exciting because of all the electricity that is generated in the crowd and on stage. It's my favorite part of the business. Was that Elvis Presley, Brian Wilson, or Taylor Swift?
I'd be very surprised if it was Brian because he did not like playing live, and Of course, after he had his breakdown, he stopped. So, I mean, that could have been him very early, I suppose. That also sounds something that, I don't know, it sounds like maybe a little bit too verbose for Elvis. So I'm going to go with Taylor Swift.
If you said Taylor Swift, you would be incorrect. That is a quote from Elvis Presley.
Okay.
His
I didn't
favorite.
think you would make such a long quote, but
Well, some of them get even longer. But I just thought it was interesting that that Elvis said his favorite thing was live.
well, I'm sure it was, especially early in his career when he was swiveling his hips and the women were just creaming in their pants. So
Yeah, that's an Elvis quote. Here's another quote: "No matter what happens in life, be good to people. Being good to people is a wonderful legacy to leave behind." Is that Elvis Presley, Brian Wilson, or Taylor Swift?
my dad was Elvis.
That was Elvis.
Um, it's I don't think it's Elvis. I mean it's something Brian could have said, but it also sounds like something Taylor Swift would say as sort of a marketing promotional kind of
Yeah,
thing. So I'm going with her.
you got that right. Taylor Swift
Okay.
is the one that says, "No matter what happens in life, be good to people. The wonderful legacy to leave behind." So good call on that one. Yeah. How about this? "I think about food literally all day,
Hmm.
every day. It's a thing."
Well, I mean, it could be any of them. I mean, Taylor Swift obviously controls her weight. Elvis went through obviously big battles with obesity, and so did Brian. That does sound like something Brian would say, so I'm going with him.
Sounds like a good one, but it was in fact Taylor Swift. She
Wow,
thinks about food every day, all day.
which is what, and it probably makes a lot of women resent her when she says that. But okay.
How about this quote? "I consider myself to be a crusader of love. I try to spread love around the world as best I can because I know I have a handle on love."
Oh God.
Was that Elvis Presley, Brian Wilson, or Taylor Swift that has a handle on love?
Well, I'm inclined to. I'm not gonna. This isn't my final answer, but I'm inclined to say Brian only because he hasn't been called on yet. But that doesn't really sound like something he would say. But you never knew with him. Sounds a little hokey for Elvis, but I mean, it's like you want to say Taylor Swift because it just seems like her, but it's probably wrong. But whatever, I'll go with Taylor Swift
You
yet
go with
again.
Taylor Swift? Yeah, you should have stuck with Brian Wilson. Brian
Oh
Wilson
God,
has a handle on love.
this one. Maybe he meant Mike Love, in which case I should have known.
Mike
I should have known. But he never really had a handle on Mike Love. It was more the other way around.
Yeah. All right.
Unfortunately,
This quote: "The
I'm really
image
doing
is."
badly on this. So what am I?
Well, that's why we're not keeping score. This
One
is
out
just
of
for
four.
fun.
Yeah.
"The image is one thing. The human being is another. It's very hard to live up to the image."
I'll go with Elvis on that.
Elvis is correct. You got
I
that.
figured I shouldn't. My analyses have only gotten me, really only gotten me the same percentage as any monkey with a typewriter. This time I just went spontaneously.
Well, this one you'll get. "I believe that music is God's voice."
I'll get that. Well, I would. I mean, again, I'll just say Brian.
Yes, I figured you'd definitely think Brian would say that. Here you go. "Some people think that sex is the highest experience you can have. I tend to think that music is."
Oh boy.
Was that Elvis Presley, Brian Wilson, or Taylor Swift?
Well, you wouldn't think Elvis would be making a quote that had the word sex in it, or if he did, it would have been. It would have been edited by a lot of newspapers back in the day, but he could have also said it in the 70s.
Yeah.
Boy, I'm going to go with Elvis.
That would have been Brian Wilson.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? All right. We're going to do one more just for fun. I think the tiniest thing can change the course of your day, which can change the course of your year, which can change who you are.
Oh, for God's sake. I'll go with Elvis again.
That was Taylor Swift.
No, that was my other second choice.
And that was who said that?
I got what, like 3 out of 8 or something. It was pretty bad.
It's all good, man. It was just for fun. I just thought it was interesting when you put the 3 different personalities together, and then you think about Elvis, Brian, or of course Taylor Swift.
Well, there were, again, so much of this is for the press, and there were very few of those quotes that could easily be ascribed to one person, based upon what we really knew about them. Oh.
Vinnie Vincent.
I'll tell you one thing, none of it is power pop.
I knew that was coming.
That's all, yeah.
Are you actually up for a competition with the who charted higher?
Sure.
Now we have 15 years. What do you think is fair for you to? Was that the 11? Did we say 11 out of 15 is a winning night, or 10?
Well, it was 7 out of 10, right? And you gave
we got 15 years.
7 out of 10 for John Borak, right?
John Borak, but did we go into I think?
Well, you did 70. You did 70 through 79 for him. So.
Oh, no. This is we're adding 65 through 79. So this is 15 years.
Well, boy, so I have to have 15 years, huh? Well,
yeah.
I would imagine. I would say. Let's go with 10 out of 15, 2/3.
Yeah, that's 66%. I mean,
yeah.
This is pretty good. Okay, this is Who's Higher. I think Lisa Michaels thought that was a good title. Who's Higher? But we're going to start with 1965, and all you got to do is tell me who had the highest year-end ending chart position
on Billboard.
Yeah,
that's all I have to do. Okay.
In the United, that's all you got to do. So who charted higher? Was it What's New Pussycat by Tom Jones, or Papa's Got a Brand New Bag by James Brown?
Wow.
Which
one? I'm going to go with Papa's Got a Brand New Bag.
And if you did, you would have been wrong, because Papa's Got a Brand New Bag came in at number 33. This was a little close. What's New Pussycat came in at number 28.
Oh boy.
I know.
Only 5 apart. I mean,
hey, that was just one off that's 1965.
Where's the coin? Heads or tails?
All right, 1966. What charted higher? Was it Barbara Ann from the Beach Boys, or was it Paperback Writer from the Beatles?
Well, I know Barbara Ann finished peaked at number 2, and Paperback Writer peaked at number 1, but that doesn't always mean. Well, here's the weird thing. The way Joel Whitburn did it in his books, every number 1 ranked higher than every number 2, which meant that if you were number 2 for 10 weeks, you still ranked lower than something that was number 1 for 1 week, and then maybe not even in the top 10 that much more.
Right.
But that's how he did it. Now this is a little bit different. This is how Billboard did it.
Right.
So being number 1 as opposed to number 2 doesn't necessarily mean you ranked higher, but I'm still going to go with Paperback Writer.
And you'd be correct. Paperback Writer finished the year, surprisingly, number 57, and Barbara Ann overall number 73.
Okay.
So yeah, you got that right. Paperback Writer and ended the year much higher. 1967. Was it I Think We're Alone Now, Tommy James and the Shondells, or did Release Me by Engelbert Humperdinck come in higher? Was it Engelbert's Release Me, or was it I Think We're Alone Now, Tommy James and the Shondells?
Well, if you ask me that for the UK chart, that would be real easy, because I think Release Me was on the chart for like 50 weeks or something. Yeah. It was insane.
Right.
It was still a pretty big hit here.
But was it as big as I Think We're Alone Now?
That's a good question, but I'm going to go with Engelbert.
No, I think we're
No?
alone now. Actually finished the year at number 12, while Release
Wow.
Me, yeah, number 12. Release Me came in at 31.
Wow. Okay, that's a
31.
big
So,
surprise.
yeah, I think we're alone now.
I'm only
Did
one out
very
of
well.
three right now. Okay, great.
That's all right. That's all right. 1968. Would you think it was Eleanor by the Turtles or Indian Lake by the Cowsills?
Well, I know for sure Eleanor peaked higher. I believe Eleanor peaked at number 6, and Indian Lake, I believe, peaked at number 10. But again, that doesn't necessarily mean,
It's all time. Yeah. It's
because
time
it
in the
has to
charts.
do with how many weeks it was on the chart and what numbers. But I'll still have to go with Eleanor.
Eleanor came in for the year at number 80,
Oh
but
boy.
Indian Lake came in at 71.
Oh, for God's sake.
So the Cowsills take on
Even
the
though I
Turtles.
even though I knew that Eleanor did better as a peak, I still get it wrong. Okay.
It's all right. All right.
Boy, that
1969,
sucks.
moving along. We're having a tough night so far, but what came in higher? Who's higher? Was it Suspicious Minds by Elvis Presley or These Eyes by the Guess Who?
Well, Suspicious Minds finished at number 1, and These Eyes, I think, finished at number 6 or something. So if I'm wrong on this one, I may just hang myself. I'm going with Elvis.
Elvis would be correct. Elvis finished up overall number 18 with Suspicious Minds, while These Eyes by the Guess Who came in at 44.
All right.
So it wasn't
That
even
makes
close.
sense.
Elvis by a long shot. All right, we're moving into your comfort zone, the 70s. Here we go. Would you say the highest ranking single was Mississippi Queen by Mountain or I'll Never Fall in Love Again by Dionne Warwick?
Boy, here's why that's deceptive. Mississippi Queen only got up to about number 20-ish, but did spend a lot of weeks on the charts.
Time on the charts,
As
yeah.
far as I know, I'll Never Fall in Love Again did better, but also, see, this is where it gets dicey.
Mm-hmm.
That song traversed years.
Yeah.
Some of its weeks would be 1969. Some of them would be 1970. I'm trying to think where the cutoff is. I think in the case with WABC, the cutoff was like at the end of November. So that would in that case, that would give Dionne Warwick some advantage.
Mm-hmm.
I think with Billboard, the cutoff was later. So I'm thinking her weeks for that song would have been mostly in 69. So I'm going to go with Mississippi Queen.
You would have another one in your pocket. Mississippi Queen by Mountain came in at number 78 overall, but
that's amazing.
I'll Never Fall in Love Again barely cracked the top 100 at number 95.
I wonder if it did make the 100 in 1969, because
I don't know. But Mississippi Queen takes down Dionne Warwick.
It's only because, again, it really didn't peak very high, but it was on for a lot of weeks.
A lot of weeks. Yeah, that's where this gets a little tough to think about. But 1971, did Donny Osmond's "Go Away, Little Girl" chart higher than Tom Jones' "She's a Lady"?
Oh, that's a tough one.
That's a tough one.
"Go Away, Little Girl," I believe, did finish number 1. And I think "She's a Lady" might have finished number 2. But I'm also thinking that "Go Away, Little Girl" didn't have the staying power that "She's a Lady" did. And I'm sure Donnie didn't have the staying power that Tom Jones did either. Well, you wouldn't know with Donnie at that point, because he was a Mormon and he wasn't doing that. And I'm sure Tom was mostly doing that.
All these things come into play, so we gotta think it.
Well, I don't think their sex life had much to do with this, but I am going to apply the staying power metaphor to the song, and I'm going to go with "She's a Lady."
She's a Lady. Tom Jones came in the year at number 25, but it was severely whomped by Donny Osmond's "Go Away, Little Girl" at number 7.
Oh my God. All right. Well, maybe I was wrong about the weeks.
Ask Elvira.
She knows about both of them? I doubt it.
Now this one's going to be tight. So this is going to be a real toss-up. I'm going to tell you right now. 1972. Which one charted overall higher?
Wait,
Was it?
before we do that one, how many do I have right now? Only 3?
Well, you got 3 right and 4 wrong. So you're
See, I mean, I could have flipped a coin and done better than this.
yeah, you could
With
have.
all my knowledge, see what it's doing for me.
But see what's interesting about this is the way we talk about everything. It's very informative, I think, for everybody to hear what the thoughts are on these songs.
It is, yeah.
It's not about winning or losing when it comes to this. It's just kind of a fun thing to talk about.
I suppose, yeah.
1972. This one's going to be tight. Would you say that Raspberries Go All the Way charted higher or lower than Badfinger's Day After Day?
Well, here's what's very interesting about that.
Yeah.
On WABC's Top 100 that year, I may be wrong about this, and I'm going to actually ask you to look this up. I think that Go All the Way finished number 40 for the year, and Day After Day finished number 41. Can you look that up? Look up Google. This has nothing to do with Billboard.
Yeah.
But Google. I want to see if I'm right about that. I know for sure they were both in the 40s, but I think it was literally 40 and 41. WABC's 1972 Top 100 chart.
WABC 1972 Top 100.
For those who don't know, WABC was the reigning New York Top 40 station, and I listened to it religiously at that time. And I do remember counting down the top 100 at the end of the year.
All right. So do you want me to tell you what WABC says?
Well, I think Go All the Way was 40 and Day After Day was 41. Am I wrong?
You got that absolutely right. Go All the Way was. I can't believe you got that. I'm just gonna go.
Well, WABC, I know that chart. Yeah. I know those charts fairly well. I did not.
Unbelievable.
Billboard, the year-end Billboard charts at all.
Wow.
That is a big toss-up, and I really don't know. I can't even use an educated guess on that.
You got that right there. I can't believe it.
I think Go All the Way peaked at number 5 on Billboard, and Day After Day peaked at number 4. I could be wrong, and even if I'm right, that doesn't necessarily mean that Day After Day did better. But I'm going to go with Day After Day.
Well, if you went with Day After Day, you should have went with Go All the Way, because the Raspberries.
Let's just get them all wrong.
Billboard, the Raspberries.
It's so much better on John's list.
At number 33, and Day After Day came in at number 39. So
wow! All right, so they were fairly close on that part too, but both did better.
Both did better than the WABC chart. Yeah. All right. 1973. I love this one. Would you say?
I have to get all these right to get 10. From that 73 through 79, I got to get them all. That's not going to happen.
You got a 50-50 chance, so
No, I got 0.5 to the 7th power. That's the chance I have, which is not good.
And in 1973, I would sing these 2 tracks all the time, so this would be tough for me to call. But who's higher? Was it Delta Dawn by Helen Reddy, or Tie a Yellow Ribbon Around the Old Oak Tree by Tony Orlando and Dawn?
Well, that song on WABC's Hot 100 finished at number 3. Delta Dawn was not anywhere close. But who the hell knows for the year? So I'm going to go with Tony Orlando and Dawn.
Yeah, Tony Orlando and Dawn came in at overall number 1.
Okay, well, there you go.
73, and Delta Dawn at number 14.
Wow, it did better than it did on WABC.
I just remember hearing Delta Dawn every time I turned.
No, it was huge. Yeah, it was huge. But Tie a Yellow Ribbon, forget it. Yeah,
that was monster. Yeah, it was monster. All right. That's one in your pocket.
4 so far. Wow.
1974. Oh, I sang these all the time as well. Who's higher? Was it Rock the Boat by Hughes Corporation, or Taking Care of Business by Bachman Turner Overdrive?
Well, I'm pretty sure Taking Care of Business didn't even make the top 10 on Billboard. And Rock the Boat was number 1 on WABC's Top 100 of 74. That Whether or not that translates to Billboard that way, I don't know. But I got to go with Rock the Boat.
Rock the Boat, yeah, easily came in at number 43 overall.
Really? That's it.
Destroying Taking Care of Business, which came in at number 63.
Wow. I mean,
So,
again, I would have thought Rock the Boat would have done way better even on Billboard. But
man,
okay.
those are two tracks
I
from
got it
my
right. Okay.
junior high days up in the bleachers when the dances on a Friday night, and Hughes Corporation's Rock the Boat, Taking Care of Business, both monster tracks.
Great
Yeah.
name, Hughes Corporation with
Hughes
the
Corp,
HUES.
Now you gotta love it. Yeah. All right. Well, you even it up at 5 and 5, and we're at 1975. Philadelphia Freedom, Elton John, or Jive Talkin',
Wow.
the Bee Gees.
Well, they were both huge.
Huge, both huge.
On WABC, and I think 75 might be the last year where I would know this well. Philadelphia Freedom finished number 3. Jive Talkin' did not, but it did do well. I don't think that well. Now this was the first Bee Gees, and this wasn't even quite disco. It was kind of in that we're almost at disco. We're almost in disco mode, but not. We're not. You should be dancing quite yet,
Right.
or staying alive. But
Yeah.
I still got to go with Elton.
Yeah, Elton John easily at number 3 overall.
Oh, 3 and 3. Okay.
As you called it, yes. Jive Talkin' though, number 12. They
No,
weren't
it was
far
huge.
behind, but it was huge. But Philadelphia Freedom was a monster hit in 1975 for Elton. All right, gets a little tighter here in 1976. You're on a roll.
I've gotten 3 in a row now.
Yeah, you're on a roll. You're on a roll.
No, I have to get them all to get 10.
Who's higher? Was it Fox on the Run by Sweet or Love Hurts by Nazareth?
Wow. Well, let's see. I think I do know on WABC which one did better.
Great track.
I think Fox on the Run did, but that doesn't necessarily translate. No issues with crossover stuff. They both were, all their weeks were during 1976. Yeah, this one I don't have a lot to go on, but Fox on the Run.
Fox on the Run surprisingly came in a very low 76.
Well, I lost, I guess. Okay.
Love Hurts at number 23.
Wow, that was
Blue.
Way
Fox on the Run.
Way bigger nationally than it was in New York.
Way bigger, yeah. So Nazareth takes down Sweet, sadly, but
and I cannot get 10. But okay, it's still fun though.
It's been a lot of fun. Here's 1977. Would you say the higher charting track is Year of the Cat by Al Stewart or Stand Tall by Burton Cummings?
I think Stand Tall finished at number 9 on Billboard. And I think Year of the Cat did a little bit better than that. But again, how the weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how the weeks lined up may be a little different. But I still want to go with Year of the Cat.
Year of the Cat, if I told you, it's hard to believe, but Year of the Cat came in at number 92.
Oh, boy.
And Stand Tall, Burton Cummings, great track I hadn't heard in a long time until I pulled it up here, number 63.
I think anybody, even with what I know, has become, I think right now I'm what? I have how many?
6 good, 7 bad. So we're
I'm less than random.
Yeah, we're just going
to try to thing where this is the kind of thing where people who think I'm arrogant would be really laughing at me now. Like, look, listen to Bash setting himself up as an authority on these charts, and he can't even get half of them right.
Well, you know what? You've already proven your mettle in the Stump the Bash, and the fact that you called day after day at number 40 and go all the way at 41.
The other way around.
So, on the WABC chart.
Now amazing. Think I'm even more arrogant. But all right, go ahead.
All right, let's see if you can
at least let me get 50-50. Or maybe 50, I shouldn't. Maybe that would be
we'll see. We got 2 left. 1978.
Oh, I can't get 50-50. There's only 15.
That's right. It's an odd number.
I have to get both to be above 50 or
Yeah.
Anything less, and I'm below.
But you're nowhere near the Mendoza line, so you're all right.
Thankfully not. Yeah.
1978. Whose Higher was it? Hot Child in the City by Nick Gilder, or 2 out of 3 Ain't Bad, Meatloaf?
Well, Hot Child in the City, I'm pretty sure finished number 1. I don't think 2 out of 3 Ain't Bad did that well, so I got to go with Nick Gilder.
Nick Gilder would be correct. He came in overall number 22, and revisionist history is always crazy because I would have sworn that 2 out of 3 Ain't Bad would have been higher, but it came in number 30 overall.
I'm surprised it did that well.
I just seem to have heard that everywhere all the time.
But well, how at that point, how often were you listening to FM radio, like album stations?
That's true.
Because if you were doing that, you would have heard Meatloaf more than Nick Gilder.
Probably, yeah.
WNEW was all over Meatloaf.
Mm-hmm.
So they were playing Bad Out of Hell constantly.
Yeah,
if they even played Hot Child in the City more than 5 times, and anything else on that album once, even, I would have been surprised.
But you got it, man. You're now dead even. 7 good, 7 bad, and we got 1 year.
Gotta get it.
The pressure's on. This is 1979. Who's Higher? Would you say it was Sharing the Night Together by Dr. Hook?
I barely know that song.
Or Bad Case of Lovin' You by Robert Palmer?
Wow.
Sharing the night together.
No, I mean, I know it. I know the chorus, but if I heard the verse, I don't think the verse would give me the song.
Good one.
Robert Palmer, I know that pretty well. I don't particularly love either of them. They're okay. But 1979, we're starting to talk about.
Yeah.
Now I'm listening to albums at that point.
This is it.
Not that there weren't some bad. If you look at the charts that year, the Billboard charts, especially near number 40, you had some really cool. You had a lot of power pop.
Yep.
I remember Confusion by ELO was like peaked at number 30 something. So if you look at the lower reaches, especially, you had some great songs.
Stuff. Yeah.
And of course, My Sharona that may have been 1 for the year. I don't remember, but
I think overall it was number 1 for the year.
So I mean,
we had that question.
1979 was certainly an amazing year for music. So okay, Sharing the Night Together or
Bad Case of Love.
I'm going to go with Robert Palmer.
And unfortunately, you did not.
Good. I deserve it.
Robert Palmer's Bad Case of Lovin' You, which was all over the place again on FM radio, came in overall number 92, where Sharing the Night Together was number 46.
Holy shit.
Twice as good as Bad Case of Lovin' You. But
wow.
There you have it, though. Who's Higher?
I could have, honestly, anyone who knew nothing at all about music, anybody, my dad could have, beaten you. My dad could have beaten me. Billy Graham could have beaten me. Mother Teresa could have beaten me.
I don't know about Mother Teresa. Somebody says I win. I think is that John Borg or Mr. Gutman playing along?
I don't know. No, I mean, I'm using all this knowledge I have and powers of deduction, and I'm getting them wrong anyway. So there you go.
It's all right. It's a lot of fun. Billy Graham is a cracker.
That is definitely John Borat.
Well, that was fun.
That's a line from Ball 4.
Didn't want to make you think too hard on your first.
No. If I didn't have jet lag, my faculties were fine. I used the best. I used whatever I knew about charts, about WABC, and occasionally it worked, and I was able to pull out the 40 and 41, which I guarantee you nobody listening could. There you go. You got 9. You obviously know nothing, Tim. The more you get right, the less you know.
It's interesting though, because as I said, when you think about kind of going back revisionist wise and what songs, but it's also what songs you enjoyed as well. You're more of a you're more of the aficionado of the chart positionings and things, and you're really good at that. I just kind of would go by feel and say, well, God, I heard Meatloaf all the freaking time, and I would have said that would have been charting much higher.
But again, that you were probably listening to FM album rock, and
yeah, and you could have been inundated.
City was almost never on that.
You could have been inundated for like 3 weeks. And
there's also that
in your mind, you're like, well, yeah, I heard it all the time.
That's also that. And, I mean, there are a lot of factors, but the most logical one would certainly be that listening to album rock is a different experience than listening to top 40. I doubt. What was the name of the Nick Gilder album? City Nights or City Lights? One of the two.
City Nights, I believe.
City Nights.
Someone else will know.
Like I said, I doubt.
Yeah.
Well, there's also that. Yeah.
That's true.
Regional charts, even in the late 70s, made it difficult. And that, that. And again, I used some of my ABC knowledge, and that was a local chart, and it didn't necessarily have a one-to-one correspondence with Billboard. In some cases, not even close.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm shocked, for example, that Delta Dawn did as well as it did nationally. But that's how it works.
Oh, it's fun though.
Sometimes.
And I'll tell you what, it's fun putting these things together and just looking at.
Yeah, thank you. I do appreciate remembering. And I want to keep playing this game. I mean, I want to play Stump the Bash more.
Yeah.
Because that's something that you're not. You have to have knowledge to get that.
Yeah. Indeed.
This one is this is a coin flip.
And we'll get there. But next couple of weeks we've got guests going on. So
yes, we do.
Give me some time to put some Stump the Bash together for later on in the summer. But
and I certainly pray that next week I'll be able to speak, or at least not be in too much pain to appear. But next Wednesday, the 21st, we have the guests that we should have had long ago, but it took a while, but finally it worked out. We're going to have 2 members of the band for which this show was named, the band Material Issue. We're going to have Ted Ansani and Mike Zelenko, the bass player and drummer of Material Issue, both great guys. When we started IPO Chicago, both of them played in the existing bands at the time. Well, Ted had his own thing, Ted Ansani Project, I believe. And Mike was in a band called Box Car, and they were both excellent. And then, of course, in 2011, the ultimate highlight of IPO, having the Material reissue 20th anniversary show of the International Pop Overthrow album, hosting that at IPO Chicago was something I'll never forget. It was absolutely transcendent, and obviously it was the 2 guys and Phil Angotti, another great local musician, who, if you guys haven't heard, you really need to pick up his albums. He is awesome. So we're going to have them, and obviously we'll talk about Material Issue and what they've been doing, and the documentary that just came out on Material Issue, how it's faring in the hearts and minds of people. The following week, we're going to have the show on Thursday rather than Wednesday, so it'll be June 29th, and we will have a couple of members of one of Gem Records stars, the Midnight Callers. And the Midnight Callers are a reasonably young power pop band, and power pop in the true sense of the word, power and pop. And trying to remember when it's coming out, probably it's a week from today, actually, I think. The Midnight Callers album right here, Rattled Humming Heart. Excellent stuff. Just filled with classic power pop sounds.
And a big shout out to Matt Street for sending out this wonderful press kit. It just
it looks great, doesn't it?
It really is wonderful, and I do appreciate that coming our way.
It's really nice that some labels are still doing those kind of classic press kits. Yeah. When I started IPO, and the only way bands could submit would be to send, either a CD or an entire press kit. I got lots of press kits like that. Obviously, with the June 23rd. Okay.
Yeah, June
Which would be
23rd.
which would be next Friday. Thank you, Tim. Yeah, I mean, back then I got lots of really great press kits with the photos and occasionally tchotchkes like the pen. But once websites started to happen and people could put everything they wanted online, you'd stop getting press kits.
Yeah.
They might send you a CD, but it would, you would usually, it would be accompanied with an email that would have the press kit on as a press release on as an attachment, and maybe you'd get some artwork as an attachment. But this is the same argument about physical product with music, physical product with reading material, and the accoutrement that those have. Those press kits are certainly nicer than what you would get online. So
yeah.
So
I
those are
appreciate
the two guests we currently have scheduled. There will certainly be more as we get into July. The next IPO is in August. It happens to be in LA, so no travel, which will be nice. August 4th through 12th at Redwood Bar. We will unveil at that point this year's IPO CD.
Nice.
After LA, we have San Diego the following weekend. Then we'll have Arlington. There you go. Arlington in September, and New York, Boston, and Hamilton, Ontario in November. And hopefully we'll have some bacon, lettuce, and tomato or BLT chips out here in California.
See, over here, it's past dinner time and my stomach's grumbling. You're not quite there yet, but
not quite there, but my stomach's always grumbling. So, especially for chips like that.
Oh my God.
I still have a couple of bags of the Hershberger ketchup though. I didn't go through them all. Somehow I was able to space it a bit. I don't know how, but I did it.
So one thing I wanted to mention real quick, it just dawned on me.
Delta dawned on you?
Delta dawned on me. Jesse Malin, Underground Garage DJ. He's played in a lot of great bands in New York. He's been a part of some great New York clubs and things. He just had a spinal stroke, and he's paralyzed from the waist down. And Jesse, I wish you the best. And there is a real nice fundraising effort online if anybody's interested in helping Jesse out and can. Google that, look up that thing. But really, he helped Pop Detective Records and the Dolmans out big time on their first tour. So I appreciate all his help.
Do you have a link? Do you have a link for people? Because I'm gonna help for sure.
I'm gonna look here. Hold on. Let me just while we're on.
If you're able to post that would be great.
Yeah. Let me just see if I can pull it up right here, because there were a few different links and different, but it's called Sweet Relief.
Okay.
Sweetrelief.org. And then Jesse Malin, there's a link here. Let me copy this link and see if I can put it in the comments here. There we go. Yeah, do you see it pop up in the comments?
I have not. Oh, here we go. Okay. So yeah, if you're not inclined to write it down, you can just watch it on the archive. And
yeah, you can pull up in the archives. But so I'm sure if you go to sweetrelief.org and look for Jesse, you'll see his fundraising effort. So
I had a very unfortunate experience with Sweet Relief, and it's nothing disparaging about them, but it was a gross misunderstanding. We did a charity show for them the first year of IPO. All the money that came through the door was going to go to them.
Mm-hmm.
What I didn't realize was that this was a club called Luna Park, and I can say whatever I want about them because they closed a long time ago. The owner was a total dick.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that. He knew that it was a charity show. Nevertheless, he did not donate any of his cut, and his cut was a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. This was the first year. I was inexperienced. I should have gotten down to brass tacks with this guy. I didn't, and I was chagrined to find out that he was taking more than half the money. I said, and again, I reminded him, but this is a charity show. I'm giving my, all of my part to, and they deserve it, and they do that. He didn't care. So I think someone from Sweet Relief had been to the show, and they'd seen that we had a good crowd, and I guess they estimated how much money they were going to get. When I think the representative actually came to my apartment to collect, and I gave her the money I had left, and she looked really, she was completely taken aback in a bad way. Yeah. And I explained to her the situation, but she gave me a look that suggested she didn't believe me. And and that look was confirmed later when in their next newsletter, she said that IPO had kept some of the money. And I explained, no, this owner was just a bastard. He kept his share. He wouldn't give any to Sweet Relief. They didn't buy it. Yeah. Again, I had no rep at that time.
Right. Yeah.
They didn't know me from Adam, so in their eyes, I certainly could have been a thief, but I wasn't. Having said all that, they really are a great organization. Yeah. They are awesome to musicians. I didn't even realize they were still around, but I'm glad to hear that they are.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely going to support, even though I don't know Jesse Malin, the fact that he was good to Pop Detective, and and I've seen posts on Facebook corroborating what you're saying. So
he's a heck of a guy, and he gives a lot to a lot of people, and so now he's
if any of you can donate to this, please do. Not just for Jesse, but for Sweet Relief. They're, despite what happened, and again, I don't even know who's running the show there now. This was 2000. This was 1998, actually, when this happened. So, who knows? But they are a good organization.
Yeah. Well, we thank you. Yeah, if you can help them out, we appreciate it here at Material Issues. Always backing up the good people in the business, and Jesse's one of the good ones. So thanks everybody for that. But I'm glad you're back, and I hope you get back on your feet, David, and feel better and get through it all. And of course, next week with your surgery, we hope that goes well.
Thank you. I certainly hope so too. I hope to be able to be somewhat functional on Wednesday, especially given who the guests are. Yeah. I don't want to miss my opportunity to speak, even though I have spoken with them in private. I don't want to miss this opportunity to be part of the interviewing process. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun next Wednesday here on Material Issues. We got 2 of 3 material issue.
Yeah, I know it's.
I got to get it right.
Hard to get that one right. Yeah.
It's gonna be good, and always we have irons in the fire. So make sure you stick around here and join the Facebook group or subscribe over on YouTube, and we'll let you know what's coming up a couple days beforehand. So we appreciate everybody hanging out.
Especially on a non-regularly scheduled day. It would have been yesterday, but
thank you, Andy.
It would have. I would have had to do it from the plane, and they don't allow that. So
which would have been kind of cool.
Oh, it would have been great I would have definitely had that but the Wi-Fi, it turned out, wasn't working anyway. So even if they allowed it, I couldn't have done it. But.
Well, there you have it. Episode number 107. Amazing. In the books, part of the archives as soon as we sign off. So thanks again, everybody. And we will see you next week.
Have a great weekend, everyone, and a great beginning to next week. And we'll see you on Wednesday.
Cheers.